All right, so I'm just going to go through real fast and do an example of what it would be like if you're having a 4-year plan meeting with somebody. There is nobody in the room with me, so I'll be kind of talking like a crazy person, but I wanted to give you guys an example of how to do this meeting with your guys. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the 4-year plan, which I shared with each and every one of you, and you'll make a copy of it. So you press File, Make a Copy, and then you'll have a copy that you can edit and change. And so I did this for a fictitious person named Mike. So the first thing you want to do is, let's say Mike is not, we'll do a college rookie just because a lot of our guys are in college, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to just say, we've already talked about goals. We've already talked about what you want to do this summer. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we add in, we just start doing the totals for what your summer would look like. So for this year, 2018, you're planning on going out and doing, your goal is to sell, to be in the top 10 or 50 of the company, or 10 or 15 in the company, and your goal is 48 accounts. So we'll put over here, we'll put 48 accounts, and your commission on that, and I always use a formula, is 48 times the commission over here is 300 plus 160 is 460. So the total commission is $22,080, which means their personal sales is $22,080. Their total income, $22,080. So your first summer, Mike, you would be, your goal is to make $22,080. Now, obviously, there's some pluses and minuses in there, but that just for the sake of this, that's probably the easiest way to look at it. Now, next year you came back, you'd be what we call a team leader. And so it's pretty natural because you're graduating, so you'll have the full summer. You'll have a full summer, you'll have a full 18 weeks. It's very natural for guys to come back and double their summer. So I want to make these numbers conservative though. I want to make them believable. I want to make sure that it's something that that you believe can happen. So let's just do this. We'll move over here to the veteran pay scale, because that's what you'll be this year, is a veteran. So similar pay scale, there's just some bonuses tied into it as well. So your second year, do you think it's possible, entirely possible, to go from 48 and increase at least by 50% up to 75? Yeah? Okay. So let's do 75. Heck, let's just call it 80. So you got 80 personal accounts. Press 80 personal accounts here, which equals 80 times the commission rate at 80 is 480. For a total of $38,400 in your personal sales. So just in practicing and getting better at the job, you gave yourself almost a 100% raise. The second thing we got to talk about is your team. Now, you graduate, you come back in the fall, you'll do the quick start, you'll get some accounts there, and then building a team is really when this job becomes fun. Now, I don't want to use any numbers that aren't, again, believable. It's very normal for someone who's in their first year of recruiting to recruit between 1 to 5 guys. So let's just call it that you recruit 5. So you've got 5 guys on your team. So we got rep 1, rep 2, rep 3, rep 4, and rep 5. Each one of these guys on average is going to do 35 accounts. So there's 175, 255 accounts total, which means you're not going to qualify for residual this year. But you do have 175 team accounts. So there's a leadership pay associated with that. And the way you do that is we look over here, and to be a team leader, if you sold 80 accounts, 80, and you had 175 accounts in your team, you would earn a $35 override or a $35 leadership compensation on each one of those accounts. So your leadership pay would be 175 times $35. You'd also get a growth bonus, and this is $20 for each account that a rookie sells with Northstar. So in here, we get to add in 20 times the 175 as well. And because you came back for a second summer, you get a $50 bonus on every account that you sold your first summer. So you sold 48 your first summer, so you get 48 times $50 as well. For a total of $12,025 for being a leader for coming back to a second summer, which means that puts your second year income at $50,400 $50,425. So that's just in year 2. So that's year 2. That's 1 year, your first year out of college. Considering that the average starting salary for a college graduate is $32,000, that ain't bad. And that would be your second year. Now, do you think those numbers are high or conservative? Conservative. I completely agree with you. I think they're very conservative, but I think they're numbers that I'd rather show you, because anything you do above and beyond this is even better. So that would be year number 2. Now, you've got your first summer under your belt, your second summer under your belt. Now you've got really an organization is starting to grow. And this is the year where you decide, I'm really going to double down, and I'm going to do kind of like what a student named Jason Kramer did. Is he really, his first full year out of college, decided, I'm going to go ham on this thing and grow the organization as big as I can. So first, let's look at your personal accounts. Do you think it'd be out of the question to grow another 50% between your second and third summer? I don't think so either. So let's put that at 130, which means your commission on that. Oh, and I missed something up here. Your personal accounts here at 80, there's actually a $1,000 bonus in there. So I got to make sure to add that in. There you go. So the commission here is 130, which is a total of 8440. Okay, so 84,400. That's your commission. So just in getting better at selling and selling 50 accounts, whether that's in the preseason or during the summer, you're going to give yourself a $30,000 raise just in personal sales, right? The cool part is, though, you've got a team coming back. So you're going to have your personal team. Let's say this year you really jump at it and you recruit 10 people for your own personal team, which is not out of the question if you're doing this full-time and you're here in Phoenix. You know what, let's be conservative. Let's just do 7 for you. And then you've got a team leader. One of your 5 guys came back from last year. He's got a team. And another one of your reps came back from the year before, and he's got a team. And you have a team leader who comes back, doesn't have a team, but comes back as an experienced rep. So now we get to figure out exactly what kind of accounts you have. So first off, from these 175 accounts, or these 255 accounts you did here, you've got 240 of them that will still be good. Unfortunately, there's no residual earned on that. So we've got to get it up over 300 before there's a residual. So once again, we're going to put in very standard numbers. Your team leaders, let's have them increase from 35 to 50, nothing crazy. And then this team leader has a team of 2 guys, and he has a team of 3. Okay. So this kind of really puts you in the junior manager status, which is 570 team accounts. You're at 700 in your personal organization. So your leadership pay, we get to look at that. So the leadership pay is 570 times junior manager compensation. So 130 accounts personally puts you in the 125 range, and the 700 puts you at 60. So you've got your leadership pay equals 60 times 570. Oh, I'm sorry. Your team, it would be the 60. Nope, sorry, 55. So there's 31,000 in leadership pay. Now your org, you have to pay out your org. So your team leaders, there's going to be a 105 and a 70 account. So we look at the team leader compensation. Team leader compensation is for 105 accounts, and they did 50. It'd be 40 plus 20. So this is going to equal negative 20 times 105 plus, for your other team leader who did 70, he has a $15 override. So negative 15 times 70. So this is your org payout. It's minus $3,100 there. Okay. Growth bonus, you're going to get that on these 245 accounts. So this equals 245 times a $35 growth bonus for your reps, plus you get a $15 bonus for your 175 team accounts. So you've got a total new growth bonus of $11,200, which means your manager pay is $39,400. Now, you've got 700 accounts here. You've also got a residual coming in. So if you look here, you've got residual right here. You've got 700 accounts, which means you've earned $1.50 residual on each one of those accounts. So we've got $1.50 here, which means you've got a monthly residual of $1,050. Now, you're not going to get paid that the entire year, but you will get it for October, November, and December that first year. Sorry, yeah, October, November, December for a total of $3,100 that year. So your total income for 2020 increases dramatically. Now, you're only managing, you're not managing a huge organization. You've got 2 guys in college or just out of college who are bringing a couple of their buddies. You've got 1 guy returning who's excited about the job. And then you've got 7 reps that you personally go and recruit. So is this fast? It's a little bit fast, but it's still conservative if you're putting in 150% into this job. So that's what it looks like to be a junior manager. That's kind of the 3-year plan. The cool part is this, is even if you don't recruit a team, even if you don't want to build, just in personal sales, you can go from 22 to 40 to 84 just by getting naturally better at the job. Anything that you add on top of that in your leadership bonus is completely bonus. Or it's extra, right? So that's what it looks like to be in the junior manager role, running half of an organization. Now, when you're a senior manager or co-senior manager and you have a much larger organization, you may not be bringing a ton more guys. You might still end up with, let me just add a few more boxes here. You might still have the 7 reps again. Let's just add these from up here. Right, you got 7 reps, and each one of them will have to do 35 accounts again. And some of these guys will be in college, some of them won't. But now you've got your own junior manager. So one of your 3 guys decides he wants to be a junior manager. And that junior manager is going to have a team. And then you're going to have a couple of team leaders that came back from your year before. From the 7. Same thing. We're just going to say that a couple of them come back. You've got a junior manager who's got a team, but now you've really got, and you still have kind of the same retention that you had the year before. 3 of your 7 guys come back. We'll once again put those guys at 50 accounts. Your junior manager should be up towards he went from 50. Let's put him up at the 100 mark. He's learning how to sell. He's got a team though. So one of his junior managers came back. That junior manager or one of his team leaders come back, and he recruits a couple of guys. Your junior manager recruits a few. Let's say they have, between the 2 of them, 7 guys, and each one of those 7 guys does 35 accounts. That's 245 accounts on his team. Same thing with these guys. Same success rate for these guys. Nothing crazy, but some accounts. So your team accounts goes up from 570 to 915, and that's pretty consistent growth over 4 years. So those 915, you're going to get a leadership pay again, and this is as a senior manager. So your personal accounts this year should be up around 150, which means your commission and your sales on the 150 accounts would be 102,000, right? Is that right? 102,000 on those. And I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Okay, so again, it's kind of fun because just getting good at selling in this job, you can make an income higher than most people that you'll ever encounter, right? So you've got your personal sales and your personal accounts. You've got 1,000 in your organization. Your leadership pay, so we go back over here, recruiting and managing. You've got 150 accounts personally, and you've got 1,000, or in your personal team, you got 915, which means you're here at the 110 level. So 915 times 110, right? So that's the total org pay. Now you've got to pay out your team leaders and your junior managers again. So we know that you're going to have a couple of things getting paid out. So 245 accounts for your junior manager. So your junior manager, 245, and he did 100. So he's here at the 45 account level. So we got 45 times 245 plus the same thing that we had before is you've got team leaders. You've got a team leader who sold 50 and has a team that does 105. So he's got negative 20 times 105 plus you've got negative 15 times 70. So those are your three different org payouts for a total of minus 14,000 that you're paying out to your team. Okay. Now you've got your growth bonus. So your growth bonus is going to equal a couple different things. So you've got your own team that does 245 accounts. So 245 times, as a senior manager, you actually get all $50 of those accounts. So you get 50 from Goldman Sachs for recruiting rookies. Okay. Then you've got your junior manager. So his team did 245 accounts. So for those 245 accounts that he did, his team did, you'll get paid $15. And then your team leaders have between them 175 accounts. And on those 175 accounts, there's an additional $30. There's another $21,000 in growth incentive. Your residual, this remains $1.50. So it's gone down a little bit, just attrition naturally. This is still at 0. And then because you're at 1,000 accounts now, the monthly residual for 1,000 accounts is $2.50. So you got $2.50 coming in. So your residual total down here is this times a year and this times 3 months. So you got $19,000 you made that year in residual income for a grand total of $229,482 in year number 4. So why do I show you this? I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is to help you think, to make you think this is a get rich quick company, because it's not, right? To manage 1,000 accounts during the summer is hard, it's challenging, and it takes a lot of work. And it's certainly possible that you can do it, but it's going to take a ton of work. The neat part is this, is even if you don't recruit and all you do is improve at sales every year, the total from now until 2020, just in those 4 years, is $247,000, right? So even if all you did was sell for 4 years, you'd still be making 6 figures, and then that could be the year that you start. But the reason I show this to you, and the reason why it's so important, is not because of what you could be making in 4 years. The question is this: why does any of this exist? Why is any of it even possible? And why is it possible only for a few select people? Well, here's why. Without this, Without your first summer, does any of it exist? No, it doesn't. It can't. So one of the things to think about is you can use this as motivation. I mean, I remember there were times my first year where all I wanted to do was quit. All I wanted to do was not be there selling. And there were a couple things I remembered. It wasn't all about money for me because this is lives touched. This is 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 27, 28, or 27 plus these 7 is plus these 6 is 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. You've had close to 40 people who you've drastically impacted their lives. And their life will never be the same because they work for you. Do any of those 40 people get to have that experience if you quit summer number 1? Do any of those people get to create the type of income that I showed you right here if you quit summer number 1? Don't even get to have the personal growth, the development, the leadership training, the sales training, and everything that goes along with this job if you quit summer number 1? No. So this is just another tool in your arsenal, man. I want you to look at it. I want you to say, oh, that's awesome and it's beautiful. And I wish it always played out like this. It certainly can. And we have guys every single year that play it out this way. But use this as motivation. Use this as motivation to work when you don't want to work. Because at some point, every challenge you're going through, your first summer, rep number 1 in year number 2, that you're training is going to go through some of those challenges. And you're going to be able to coach him and train him better because you went through it yourself. So I'm going to share this with you, not because I want you to, I'm not promising you that you'll make this, but we do that every year. There are guys who end up here. So hopefully that was helpful, but that's how you explain the 4-year plan. Really, if there's only one edit that I would make, guys, is I would lower these numbers to maybe 30 accounts or have fewer reps. But I think this is stuff that's doable. I think it's stuff that, especially for someone who's graduating from college. Now, if they're not graduating from college and they're still a college student, might make more sense to do, 2 reps. So then instead of the larger numbers, you've got 2 reps, and then you want to, obviously their team leader year, you got 35 and 35, so they're at 70, and they went out and sold, and maybe they're still in college, so they still sell 60. So 60 accounts for a college veteran would be 470 plus 800, right? Equals oops. So this would be equals 470 times 60 plus 800. All right, so 29,000 in personal sales. They've got 70 team accounts. So then you're going to go over here and look 70 team accounts, 60 personal, puts them in the $20 range. So this one equals 70 times, 70 times 20, good gracious. Right, not a huge one there. The growth bonus, this is going to equal 70 times 20 as well. And then their returner bonus is still going to be $2,400. So there's still numbers to play with in there. It's still $34,000. They come back for a 3rd year as a college student. Maybe they only want to recruit 5 guys, but they do have one of their guys come back, and he may not bring a team necessarily. So you've got some accounts coming back. You got 225 coming in. And this year they do, 80 accounts. So you can obviously go very conservative with this, but one of the cool parts, college veteran, 80 accounts is 48,000. Dang it, I always type on the wrong side. $48,000 for 80 accounts. So he actually still hit the residual. So there's $1 there for residual. And then your team leader, team accounts, 225. So you got to obviously amend all this stuff. So 225 as a junior manager, and then they did 80. So in the $40 range. So this equals 225 times 40. There would be no org payout, and then the growth bonus would be their 35. $175. So this would equal 175 times. They'd still be a team leader. So 175 times 20, and then this is actually 175. Or no, that would be 225. Right? So there's $12,000 there. There's still $61,000 in year number 3, and then year number 4. This would be their first year as a junior manager. It might make sense to do all this. Let them have a couple of team leaders. This might be a little bit more accurate this time. Right, so they've got 570 accounts in there. They're still going to have these buyouts or these that pay right there. They're 570, and they can sell 100 accounts this year. 100 accounts, they'd be a normal veteran, which would be 60,000. And then you've got the 570 equals 570 times 50. They're still going to have a growth bonus. The growth bonus would be 175 times 35, and then they'd have those other 175 times 15 that they'd get. Right, so still up over $100,000 in 4 years. So really kind of cool the way you can show somebody. I think this is $1.50 right there. Let me just double check. 600 accounts, $1.50. Yeah. So it's still cool. You can show a guy how in 4 years they can be making $100,000 right out of college. And this is really kind of the Jason Kramer plan. He did it a year earlier, but this is kind of what it looked like when he graduated from college. So hope that was helpful, guys. Obviously, you can go bigger or add more stuff there, but that is the 4-year plan.